So again, Emin, thank you for your introduction. Again, good morning to everyone who is on the platform. It's great to have you here. And again, thank you for joining this webinar. So as many of you are already aware, we are PLM Central, a technology firm and a reseller of PTC products. So we're based in Watford, and we're also part of the PTC partner network. So again, we're partners with PTC here in the UK and in Ireland. We provide support for companies globally and in a variety of industries, in tech, automotive, aerospace, mechanical, etc. So what we'll do, we'll begin with the webinar. Again, today we'll be looking at managing SolidWorks data in Windchill. My name is �𝐞𝐚𝐿, and I'm the applications engineer here at PLM Central. So for you guys who are not familiar with Windchill, Windchill is a very flexible PTC product and provides heterogeneous management of your CAD data. So what that means is you can use multiple CAD applications to manage your data and simultaneously as well. Okay, let's check. There are no questions, no one in the lobby. Okay. So for the agenda today, we'll do a CAD management overview. We'll look at the Windchill integration with the SolidWorks application. Again, we've just chosen SolidWorks for today, but this can work for multiple CAD applications with Creo, SolidWorks, CATIA, and NX. So don't feel like you're limited to a particular PDM system. Windchill is more than capable of handling all of your data. So we'll look at the workspace, which is a concept some of you might not be familiar with. And then we'll also talk about viewing information. So again, you guys are tuned into the webinar for managing SolidWorks data in Enterprise Windchill. And just some food for thought. Maybe you guys can have a think about what some of the differences are with PLM and PDM. With some of you who are familiar with SolidWorks PDM, as you can imagine, that's more revolved around managing your CAD data in SolidWorks. PLM, Windchill PLM, is a tool by PTC, and here you can manage your risk and failure analysis, product management, EBOM and MBOM management, variant management, change management, QMS, and much more. There is also the possibility for CAD integration. So there is you can add your electrical CAD data as well as your mechanical CAD data in one a streamlined task. There's also the possibility to visualize that data. So again, from multiple systems, not just in your SolidWorks application. So these are some of the limits that SolidWorks PDM has, and Windchill is more than capable of handling many of these things. Okay, so hopefully we don't have any questions yet. If you do have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer that. Let's talk a bit about BOM management. So what are some of the capabilities? Well, you can create and manage parts and your bill of materials. You can create a holistic product definition with your related CAD. You can add any sort of documents, any sort of requirements for the product you're making, and much more. There's also the ability to visualize your data as you're managing it. So on the left pane, we can see we have our structure. In our structure, we have a variety of parts, products, assemblies. We also have the associated WT parts, which is like a business part. And we also have the visualization of the products we are working on. And you can also import and export your bill of materials or your structure using a range of methods. The first method, either you can do it in a CAD-driven way using your CAD application. You do a save as, or you can import using Excel or XML formats. So what are some of the benefits? Again, collaboration. Remove silos by providing a complete product definition from or to work from. Teams can work together to reduce any sort of confusion or errors during your design phase. You can enable the enterprise to access key product deliverables. And finally, value at a time. So you can increase innovation by streamlining your product evaluation. So another thing you can do in Windchill is your product variability management. And here you can define a product variability based on the product features. So you can have a single product with different kinds of features and with options and variants module. Depending on what the customer requirements are, you can quickly generate that product based on the features that the customer would like. So you can do that very easily and very quickly. You can manage rules and features that interact with one another. You can plan and view product families within a product platform. You can create configurations of products for any enterprise needs. So you can visualize and validate your solutions also. And you can reuse the platform downstream. So what are some of the benefits? Collaboration again, so you manage design environment, so you can reduce your errors from design conflicts, reduce time spent searching and managing processes, and you can also reduce scrap, rework, and any resulting cost time added time. So that is options and variants. There is our Windchill requirements management, which is also possible. So here you can capture and manage the voice of your customer over the life of your product and product lines. You can collaborate and manage systems and software requirements. You can easily determine the impact of any of those changes. And some of the benefits of this are, again, reduce time to define your document requirements, streamline your collaboration, and improve your first pass yield. So that's managing your requirements. I'll talk about the change management process. Okay. So the change management process in Windchill is also very intuitive and very easy to use. So what is the change management process? Well, there's usually a 3-step process to this. So usually you have a fast, a full, and a basic. And essentially what that means is if you're in a manufacturing environment, someone from the shop floor can report a problem. They can input this into Windchill, and this can then go to the relevant personnel who can then review this. So obviously initially, once that first stage is completed, the initial reviewer might create a change request. And what that change request is, they would evaluate the technical and business justification, and they could plan a minor or a major change. So the minor change is a fast track, which is more of a simplified oversight. So you might have a small team who might get involved. And Windchill handles all of this. Windchill handles all of the processing in the background. So the relevant people will be notified. And this usually goes through a change review board. So you can assign certain individuals to the change review board to look at that change request. After that, if it does need like further escalation, then you can escalate this to a change notice. And here in Windchill, depending on the business requirements, you can create and execute an implementation plan. So you can release the changes and you can also audit the results. So here, you might go through a full track, and here you would invite all the relevant personnel. So you might have stakeholders involved if it does get to that level. and you can assign your change tasks to people on a manufacturing plant or design engineers or systems engineers. So Windchill handles all of this seamlessly. So again, once all the relevant tasks have been handed out, this then gets routed back to the relevant admins, who will then review these changes and audit all these tasks as well. And if they're happy, they can close out the change request or the problem report. So just for your information, some of the roles in a change management process, you have the change admin 1, your change review board, change admin 2, your implementation board, and your change admin 3. So again, depending on your business requirements, you can assign the appropriate personnel for this. So your change admin would analyze your problem reports at the beginning stages. You're in the change request stage. You can either put that through a full or a fast track. And then later in the change notice, if it does escalate to that, you can this will go through the change implementation board. So that is just an overview of some of the things that Windchill can do, some of the capabilities. There are many more things it can do. Any questions so far? I hope you can all hear me well. If there aren't any questions, we can continue. Okay. But my screen is still being shared. Cool. So now we go a little into the interactions between Windchill and the SolidWorks application. Before that, I'll just do a quick introduction to working with CAD documents. So in Windchill uses CAD documents, or sometimes they call it business objects, to store and manage any CAD content or information. So if you develop something in your CAD authoring tool, Windchill will store this data and any attributes associated with that new file or that new product you've created. It also captures the version history. So if you make changes to it, you can always refer back to the original version. It keeps the module structure information and any attachments, and also displays any icons relevant to the item you're working on. So here you might recognize some AutoCAD stuff, some Creo parametric icons and SolidWorks icons. So you guys who are familiar with SolidWorks, right, you'd be familiar with this user interface. And what happens is when Windchill integrates with SolidWorks, you get an additional ribbon. So here you have access to Windchill PDM actions from SolidWorks, from the SolidWorks application. We also have a separate application, the Workgroup Manager, where you can actually go into Windchill and browse around and make changes there also. But here within the SolidWorks application itself, you have secure file management. As you can see, you can check in, check out, update, and revise your items. And there's also status messages informing the engineers of any changes, or informing the engineers of what is currently happening as they are clicking on these items. So on the right, we can see we have our check-in succeeded of a part of an assembly someone was working on. So initially they were uploading, they would start the check-in process, and it would say whether the check-in had succeeded. Okay, so again, additional options will be added to your SolidWorks application. So this is integrated seamlessly, straight from your design environment. You can check in, check out. You can even initiate new CAD documents straight from SolidWorks. So the Windchill Workgroup Manager, as mentioned earlier, this is a separate application where you can manage your data, your SolidWorks data in Windchill. So here you have your visualizations, you have all objects in your workspace, and you can check the lifecycle state of these particular items. So the Windchill Workgroup Manager provides a common client application that enables you to manage your CAD data in Windchill. The data can be managed from multiple CAD applications. So again, in this example, we've just used SolidWorks. If you're NX users, you can manage the same data, as well as even in CATIA and AutoCAD. So again, typical users of the Workgroup Manager are usually CAD engineers, who use one or more CAD applications. So here they can design collaboratively within the Windchill environment. So like I mentioned here, you would see what life cycle state your design is in. We can see the time it was checked out, the time it was modified, who it was modified by, if it's actually checked out at the moment, if someone is working on it, you can see all of this visually. So this is a great collaborative environment for engineers to work in. Any questions so far? Hope we're all doing well. Okay. So what I'll do, I will talk about the workspace a little bit. Now, this might be a new concept for some of you guys who might not have a PDM or PLM background. But Windchill provides a storage interface called Workspace to facilitate the communication between your CAD application and the Windchill server. So the Workspace manages your CAD documents and is a private area where you can track and change multiple objects and perform like your basic data management operations. So this usually consists of two locations. One is the client-side workspace, which is your local cache, and you have the server-side workspace. So again, this is very simple. It's not overly complex. So in your client-side workspace, again, this is your private area where you can make changes to your design. And if you're ready to upload that to the server, it's as easy as pressing the save, and you have a backup copy on the server. So in case of a hard disk failure, you always have your work backed up in Windchill. You can go over to another computer and download that from the server side to your local side. So this is a great feature in Windchill that provides a lot of reliability. So some of the actions of the workspace. Here you can activate your workspace. So the active workspace status is applicable when you're working in your CAD application. Okay, so you can create multiple workspaces. Here we have someone who's working on a carburetor. He created a workspace for a crankshaft, a drill, and a recoil. And the workspace is useful because you can, if you have many projects from different products, you can create a workspace for each of those products, so your data doesn't get mixed. And you can activate a workspace at any particular time. Again, you can change a workspace. Like mentioned previously, you can have multiple workspaces. There's no limit to the number of workspaces you can have. These are all private areas where you can make your changes. If you want, other people can have access to this workspace. And what happens is if, for instance, you want to make a change to something in Windchill, you can add that particular item to your workspace and check it out. And what that does, it alerts everyone else that, hey, someone is working on this at the moment. So no one else can really make changes unless that user has checked it back in. And it's also very easy to create a workspace also. So you can create your workspaces from the Windchill Workgroup Manager. It's easy as going to the server management workspace, click new, and the new workspace window appears. And the context is essentially just the projects you might be working on, and you can give that a description also. So I wanted to go very quickly into the save, upload, and check-in methodology. Like I mentioned, if you hit save, right? This will save to your local cache. The save and upload. So again, depending on your application or depending on how it's configured, you can have the save your work to the server-side workspace. Right, so what this server-side workspace is, again, this is your workspace, but on the Windchill side. Okay, and once you do a check-in, those changes are then propagated to the shared folder or the Windchill common space. So again, this provides a lot of reliability. And again, if there's ever a hard disk crash, all your work is safe in Windchill. Okay, so I hope we all enjoying the webinar. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to post in the chat. I'll just talk lastly about sharing your CAD designs and viewing information. So again, Windchill is a very collaborative tool. Once you create your designs and you publish your visuals, anyone can go ahead in Windchill and have a look at the changes you've made. So with your design information shared in Windchill, other engineers are able to access, collaborate, and use the design that you have just made. Okay, so viewing your CAD data document information, we can see who's been modified by, the time, the name of the part, and whether it's in the common space or in the workspace. So this is all useful information that engineers can use to be more productive. So again, thank you all for listening. I do appreciate you coming on and listening. Do we have any questions in the chat? Yeah, one question. Okay.
Yes, Kola, let me check. Just there is few questions we tried to put up to 3. And I think Kola is happy to answer other questions. You can just contact us by email. Let's see. Yes. So the first question says, what is the learning curve with using Windchill?
Okay. Thanks, Amin. Yeah, so Windchill is very intuitive and it's very easy to use. Again, because it's with the Windchill Workgroup Manager, it works seamlessly with your CAD application. So whatever environment you're initially familiar with, whether SolidWorks, CATIA, or Creo, Windchill is directly integrated into that application. So like we saw earlier, you have your ribbon in the tab, and it's as easy as just clicking check in, check out, revise, update. So yeah, it's very easy to use.
Thank you, Kola. The second question says, can I manage other data like documents, links, and other non-CAD items?
Yeah, you can for sure manage other items in Windchill. You can manage your requirements documents, your QMS. Again, you have the options for options and variants. So depending on customer requirements, you can quickly generate a configurable product based on what the customers ask. So there's also the ability to attach links to your problem reports. So you can attach any sort of relevant documents, any formats as well. And we also saw that we can import and export into a variety of formats as well. So yeah, that's all possible in Windchill. Thank you.
Thank you, Kola. Thank you for your explanations. It was really interesting and clear. If you have more questions, don't hesitate to contact us, and stay tuned and stay in touch for our next webinar. All the list of our webinars will be on our website. So see you next month. Thank you, Kola.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of your morning. Bye.